Hi guys, Cyborgmatt here at International 2014 playoffs. I'm joined here by Theeban, aka 1437. How's your international going so far?
Well, the event is quite similar to last year, but there are much more people here, especially with the VIPs being allowed to meet with the players and whatnot. And so far, I'm enjoying it.
Are you comfortable with that kind of situation, or would you prefer something more private? Or
Uh, Obviously, I think everyone would prefer something more private, but this is like a new thing for everyone. So I think once we get used to it, it'll be normal. And I think the VIPs have been pretty good with like.
keeping the distance?
Yeah, exactly. Like they know their limits and whatnot. So yeah.
I mean, with yourself being an international veteran, this year especially, looking at your team. So 1 month before the qualifiers, you guys kind of came together, and then you get picked up by Navi as Navi US. Did you expect to be at the international for this year?
To be fair, no. I did not think I would be playing at TI4 at all. I was thinking maybe I'll come here as a caster or something like that, but when we first made the team, a few people already know that it was planned for like TI5 or something long term, and we didn't even think we'd be invited to the qualifier. But yeah, now we're here playing, so it's a miracle, I'd say.
So that's a fairly big commitment. I mean, forming a team is one thing, but then to say we're going to ride out a full international and not expect to attend, does that just? I know a lot of people have been saying like, they're not sure how stable some of these teams are right now. Do you guys reckon you can survive an international? I know the fallout's pretty large after an international event.
Well, I think that's like natural that teams will fall out or disband or change players and whatnot. I'm not sure what will happen with all the teams, but for us, we're like a fairly new team, so I think we're not at that stage where like, okay, we're just gonna disband or anything like that. I think after TI, we'll keep playing together.
Now, looking at your team, Navi US, did you ever expect to be playing for a Navi team in your career?
I didn't. It's not like something I expected. I hope for, but yeah.
I mean, when it comes to making a decision like that, who kind of do you all take that as a team decision? You all make equal. Do you have like equal footing in the team to make a? Obviously, with your situation, you must have had plenty of sponsors coming to you. Just looking at all those offers and picking one. Is that a group decision?
Yeah, it was definitely a group decision. One person didn't just go like, okay, this is the one we're gonna take. We obviously thought about all our options, and we definitely went with the one that we felt was suitable to us. And yeah.
Okay. Now you played one game this morning, Team Liquid. It was kind of, you beat them in the qualifiers and you secured that slot. Is it that difference in time, has Liquid changed at all, or is it just kind of very similar to the previous time you played them?
I think they changed what roles their players play, but as for the team, I think they're still the same as before. Maybe they improved a little, but we saw them play yesterday, so we had an idea of where they were at, and we played a lot with them during practice. So.
Okay. Now, speaking of practice, what was your build-up to the international? Did you boot camp somewhere?
Yeah, we actually boot camped in Florida, Daytona Beach. There's a place called Arena Land Center, which was absolutely amazing. The guys there were really cool, and they went beyond what they needed to accommodate us. And we would have liked to boot camp in Europe because that's where all the teams are, but it was a bit like short notice. So,
as an American team, do you sometimes struggle to find like a strong scrimming partner? When I speak to Evil Geniuses, they say they kind of run into the same boat. Like they seem to be playing the same handful of little teams compared to some of the European teams where they have like a full roster of teams to choose from.
Yeah, it's a bit hard because no one actually Europeans don't want to play on US East, and Americans don't want to play on like Europe West, because if your team is equal, then all of a sudden, delay issues and things start to come into effect. During our boot camp, we played all our games on Europe West, except for our games where we played like against Alliance or something. They were kind enough to switch with us, US East some games and stuff. But yeah, it's a bit difficult, and if you can find a middle ground with the team who will play you, then it's pretty nice.
So with the international, you arrive a bit earlier. and you actually have a dedicated, is it like a practice area, like a LAN area set up here in the hotel? And it's not as private as you would want it to be, but have you been able to actually get some good practice in that area against teams here?
We didn't actually practice against teams in that area. I know some other teams did, and other people are watching those games as well. I just used the area to play, like some pubs or practice some jungling or 1v1s before our games, so I get warmed up. And it's pretty nice that Alienware offered such a thing for the international, and I'm quite glad.
I mean, how important is Warmup? I mean, you mentioned pub games there. People would probably think, wait, you're playing pub games before an international match and stuff like that. It doesn't no matter what the game is, or is it always helpful to just keep playing constantly?
I think Dota is just like any other sport. You need to keep playing to keep your mind and your fingers and everything warmed up. Like, if you don't play a lot, you're going to cool down and you're going to play much worse, I think. But at the same time, I know other players who don't like to play pubs at all or don't like to do anything, and they just go into the match and they still play well. So I guess it could be dependent on player to player, but for myself at least, I think warm-up is quite important.
Okay. And from your personal point of view, are you more worried about Western teams here or Eastern teams?
I think they're both pretty equal. You can't be afraid of one side over the other. You're going to have to beat everyone if you want to make it.
Okay, what's your opinion on the actual group format this year? It's quite different from previous years. We're going to see teams eliminated before the main event even kicks off. Is that something you'd prefer to see, or would you rather every team attends the main event?
Oh, I definitely would rather have every team attend the main event, because I think a lot of fans are there to watch some specific teams, and if half the teams won't be making it to the main event, I think they're going to be disappointed, and I'm not so sure that was a good idea. Like, I feel maybe if Valve said before they bought these tickets that half the teams may not be there, it would be a different outcome. So yeah, I have some friends coming, and some of my teammates have family, and other teams as well have their families coming, and they want to see their family members and teammates play. So
now I want to pedal back a bit. You obviously spent a fair chunk of time in China with LGD International. What can you give us, like an overview of your experience in China and that kind of setup? Because it's kind of a unique one. It's like the first time we've really seen a Dota 2 Western team stay in China and lock down hard on that.
Well, when I was in China, I think everything was much more serious for myself and my teammates. It was like a full-time job, and that's all we actually cared about, just playing Dota. And here back in the West, it's more like lean back. And like I said in the beginning, we weren't actually planning to play for TI4, but the fact that we got into TI4 just sped up our the pace we want to go with the game. So yeah, it then became like a full-time thing now.
Yeah. So locking yourself into like the hard, heavy Chinese type training schedule, was it kind of like wake up at this time, eat, Dota, sleep, pretty much? Like, was that beneficial to you guys, or did you like feel yourself getting burnt out? With your surroundings and everything going on there?
Definitely, a lot of the players I talked to and I played with, and myself as well, felt like we're getting burnt out like much quicker, and a lot of times we wouldn't want to play, but we had no option, like to not play or whatever. Because like I feel the Western players, they need their space, they need it's what they're used to. Yeah. And in China, like from the very beginning, they started with like this scheduled, practice every day, go to sleep at X time, and just purely think about Dota and whatnot. So yeah, it's much more difficult for Western players to play in this Chinese environment.
So after that all went down, you obviously came back home, and you kind of you switched into casting. I think you were casting with Winter a lot and on the BTS channel, and then you kind of disappeared for a little while. What made you come back to Dota?
Well, I just wanted to take some time off, and I was working and things like that. I just wanted to do some real life for a little bit, and then Brax asked me if I wanted to come back, play some Dota again, and I'm like, all right, why not? Let's just try for fun and play for next TI or whatever, because by then already teams were invited and whatnot. So yeah, it was honestly just because I took my time off and I felt rejuvenated, and I was like, okay, let's just go back to playing some more casual Dota, and that's basically it. That's why I came back to playing.
Did you feel there was an empty gap in your life there? Did it bring you back?
Oh yeah, definitely. When you play this game for so long and then you go to real life or whatever and you do, a regular job like everyone else, it's not so fun compared to playing Dota professionally. And this is like your hobby and what you love. So.
Yeah. And if anyone has the opportunity to do what they love, I imagine they take that. All right, Theeban, obviously, you want to watch these games and grab some food in your downtime, so I'm going to let you shoot. But before I do, you have plenty of fans out there and sponsors you want to thank.
Yeah, big shout out to Valve for hosting this amazing international. And shout out to our fans who are supporting us from the very beginning. And big shout out to Navi US for making all this happen for us, and the amazing boot camp that they provided. Also a big shout out to Arena Land Center in Daytona Beach. They were absolutely amazing.
All right, best of luck for the rest of the games. Thank you, Theeban.